Rhythm plays a big part in successful marriages. When both partners work, or even when one works, they have lives outside of their relationship together.
And these separate lives become part of their identity. Even if one of the spouses is a stay-at-home partner, they usually by now have had routines that work really well, both in the home and outside of the home.
And when one retires, the rhythm is a bit disrupted, to say the least.
Could be a tornado.
The peaceful harmony is gone and replaced by some chaos and stress.
You know, it's funny. We just started watching a new show on TV called Shrinking. Husband and wife are in the kitchen. Wife's been a stay-at-home. She's got her routine. She does rocks. What does she do? She tumbles rocks.
Polishes rocks.
She does all this stuff. The husband's, I forget what he is, a lawyer or something like that. But he's just about to retire. And he's in the kitchen. And the wife looks at him and says, hey, look it. Or more like this. Hey, look it.
Derek,
before you retire, you need to find something to keep you out of the house each day. I've been running this house for 30 years, and I don't want my life disrupted.
And it's funny because his response was, no, I've been out of the house for 30 years, and now I think you need to find something outside the house. It's my time to be home.
That was actually pretty funny.
It was pretty funny.
It was a good
but
line.
You can see, without some tools, this could be a rocky start to the retirement phase, right?
Yeah. So there's a way to smooth this transition. And let's get into some ways that people can do this so that you don't find yourself really in a tough spot. And the first way, without a doubt, is like those two just did, communicate expectations.
Well, I don't think they did that very well.
Well, they started a conversation.
They did.
They started a conversation. There's got to be verbal conversation about
Right.
this. You can't hope things are going to work out. You've got to say what your expectations are, because there's going to be a lot of difference of opinion on what they want to do.
Yeah, a lot of change is coming, right? And 50% of couples differ on what they want to do in retirement, and that can impact them in a lot of ways, and even financially.
So way before you retire, 5 years before, you need to start talking about this as a couple, right?
Right.
You
And
need
even
to
ask your partner, ask yourself first maybe,
Yeah.
and ask your partner some questions, What do you dream about in retirement? Where do you want to live?
Yeah, how about downsizing?
Do we want to downsize,
Yeah, or not,
which is a big one. Yep.
And if you have kids, where do they fit in?
Right.
And grandkids. These are all important issues that you need to talk about as a couple.
Really, in the initial phase or pre-retirement would be a great time to talk about it,
Yeah,
right?
and I know during our career we had a tough time fitting in date night with the responsibility to the kids and all of that. I think date night and retirement's almost just as important, if not more important, to have a little bit of time to check in.
Well, because a lot of people feel you're spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week together now. There's no real reason to create that special time to check in. But we're saying there is a reason.
And what's our special time?
We have coffee every morning. Mark gets up super early. I do not. I get up at 6. And we have about 30 or 45 minutes
Every morning.
before we start
Every morning.
Well, you've already started your routine, but before I really start my routine.
Every morning we do that, and we talk about, how are we feeling? We check in with each other. What are our dreams for today, this week, this month? We plan our day. It really gives us a chance to always check in, which is really helpful for us. And maybe that's something you want to try.
So communicate
Yeah.
often and stay in touch is one big piece. Another big piece is finances. Finances are an area of disruption in marriages and certainly an area of disruption in retirement. Who is going to deal with the money matters? Who's going to pay the bills? And do you agree on money matters?
Yeah, well, it's true. There was a study we found by Fidelity Investments from 2021 that said 25% of couples are irritated by their spouse's spending habits and relationship with money. And that's before retirement.
Right.
So that irritation enhances even more once you retire.
Because many of you are retiring and you've already built your nest egg. And many of you are working with a financial planner, which is great. So you have knowledge of your finances. But when you retire, it takes getting used to not having that steady paycheck, right? And when it stops, there are some areas you need to focus on and adjust.
Yeah, there's things like taxes, your monthly expenses. Do you still need, all the fancy cable? travel plans. Do we really want to do that big trip or not? But you need to save for it.
Right. Downsizing, dreaming of a second home. One of the big ones that our financial planner has really pushed on us is this idea of withdrawal strategies, right? Making sure that, before you could just hit the ATM and, you had income coming in, you could withdraw whenever you wanted. Now it's a little different.
Well, also the 401k.
Right.
Social Security.
Optimizing that.
Yeah, when's the right time to do that? And having a rainy day fund for unexpected medical expenses.
Right.
So,
okay, so the third broad category is establishing boundaries.
You're
right?
good at this.
So this is again.
This is your bread and butter.
No, it isn't. This is again under the big topic of keeping harmony as you move into retirement. Right? You have to find a way to respect each other's time, especially if one's still working and the other isn't. Your space, one house with two separate schedules, potentially, if you're retiring at different times.
Right.
How you're going to spend your downtime, your TV time, your reading time, your cooking time,
because
even your cleaning time. If one of you is working and you're working from home and one of you is like bound and determined to vacuum the whole house every morning at 9, it's just not going to work.
So you have to adopt to each other's schedule. For me, it's important to find a place and a time for alone time for separate friends outside of the house. And all of these need boundaries and agreements so that you don't find yourself banging up against each other, doing each other's activities. It creates stress, and you don't need that.
We have friends who are actually clients of ours, and she was a teacher, and he's run his business, a sports marketing firm, out of their home for years. And she was a teacher, so she was gone from 7 to 5 every day, let's say. And now she's home and she's doing everything she loves to do. She's hosting mahjong and swim parties and lunch with friends. She's taking a cooking class. Well, all of that is happening in their house.
Which is giving her really good fulfillment because she's
Amazing.
teaching mahjong.
Amazing.
But he's like, what's going on?
But he's trying to run a business in the same space. So that's an example of where boundaries and communication really needs to come in.
You really want to respect each other's activities and priorities and space so that you don't, again, step on each other's toes.
Yeah. So the fourth big category of advice that we have in this arena is, what is your division of labor now that one of you is retired? How do you split the chores? Who's going to cook? Who's going to shop? Who's going to pay the bills? This is a whole new conversation, I think, at this point. You can't make grand assumptions that now that you're retired, you're going to do all of that.
Yeah, and that's true. And the other, and I think what you want to make sure you do is pick the things that you're good at and you like to do. I love to cook. I don't really like to shop.
Well, hang on a second. Wait, I'm good at shopping. I don't love it.
No, but
I'm good at it.
Yeah, I'm good at cooking.
And you love it.
I do love it. You don't love shopping?
Who loves grocery shopping?
I do.
Stick a note below if you love grocery shopping.
I'll take the shopping over too.
Oh, cooking and shopping.
Cooking and shopping.
Wow, that's a win for me today,
but
folks.
here's the other thing, and I don't know what it's like in your house, but I'm the guy that fixes stuff.
Yeah.
So what I don't want to get from Jody every morning is a list of things that have to get fixed: home repairs, house maintenance, car repairs. There are things that have to get done. Your car needs to go in, and that's my responsibility. I need to do it, but I don't want a list to put under my nose every day.
But this idea of talking about who's going to do what, and it's not just about chores and cooking and bills, but even who's responsible for scheduling activities with friends.
Who's the social butterfly?
That's right.
You or me?
Right. So I end up doing, golf dates, pickleball dates, dinner arrangements, travel arrangements, and that's fine. I do actually like doing those things. So that helps us stay in our rhythm. In the beginning, we talked about how couples find a natural rhythm that will take them through many years of their marriage. And maybe the one that you had worked well. But the newly retired person shouldn't get a free ride on being engaged in the rhythm.
Yeah, we have clients that get in trouble with this because you've got that example on the TV show, Shrinking, where you've got someone who's in charge of the house and has her routine and everything's going really well. And then the retired spouse comes in and says, all right, so what are we going to do all day?
Right.
And they're like, well, no, you do your thing, I'll do my thing. I'll meet you later for dinner. So you have to be really careful.
You do.
But the other big thing is this whole idea of one person retiring before the other it's going to create a lot of change in your
Right.
life. And you need to understand that the change is going to come. It's going to create friction and stress. So if that's happening, the right thing is happening. You just need to walk your way through it and talk about it. The person who's retiring, the person who retired earlier, stay at home, has interests, hobbies, and groups and friends. The new person retiring needs to create new interests, new hobbies, new groups, and new friends.
We think so, right? Because that's the way you build community and you stay active. What you want to make sure that you're doing is if one is working and one is retired and the retiring spouse is crushing it in all those areas, you want to make sure you're looping in the working spouse. So people, don't feel left out. You all of a sudden have new friends and new interests and new hobbies, which is awesome. But remember to loop in the working spouse too.
And I think the other thing is you've got to keep your relationship alive and healthy. It's really important when one of these changes takes place that you're dedicating enough time to each other to show you care about them, you're concerned about them, and you love them.
Back to your point on date night.
Don't I do that well?
You do.
Do you always feel loved?
I do.
Oh, good, good. So look, retirement is something we all look forward to, and we deserve to find ways to make it the best years of our life. And we really want to be able to live in harmony with our partner.
And if you've just retired or it's coming up soon, make sure to follow some of our advice here. And importantly, make sure you're starting to talk about this phase of life with your partner or spouse to share your dreams and aspirations.
Now, if you enjoyed this video, check out this next one. The Truth About Early Retirement, What They Don't Tell You. This is a great video. We talk about the endless opportunities that exist, and you aren't getting any younger. Now might be the right time to retire, so check out this video next.